Today's date is July 19th. Wait, no. I better double check that, Probably on the 18th. Holy 17th, David. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, Jamie said the wrong words. Oh, but 17th. Basically 10 to 9 in the morning. The reason why I've been mentioning Jamie said words, because my mom had fear of benefiting herself, of which I knew she was capable of when I was younger. Which, hey, turned her around because I wouldn't stop talking of what she was doing of illegal actions back then. Because she had fear of being caught and punished. So, oh wait, Spidey. 1 second, I got him. But anyways, so I turned her fear from not wanting to benefit herself because she thought she wasn't capable of it to, she better, of fear of punishment if she didn't. Instead of ending up in a mobile home alone, of continuing that scenario of too fearful to benefit herself because she didn't think she was capable of, although I could see she was. She's not in a mobile home at 70 alone. Of that scenario she was pursuing before mid-90s. So I took that fear and turned it into, hey, I got to, or else I get punished, with words only. Now she's in a small mansion out in Lake Wissota, Lafayette area, with 2 ponds in the yard, 22 or 24 acres of land. Still not acceptable for her though. So does money ever change a thing for anyone? No, I've seen it firsthand. So how many degrees do you have there, person driving by right now? But yet you will say, atheist, poor people break law. I can make Trump look poor with my slush fund that took 40 years to build up. Application of you're true with what you state, which is not a theory no more, that poor people break law. Traitors of stalking, of evasion of privacy. Do you see me ever breaking law, or at least not expecting punishment if I supposedly do or do not break law? No, I'm going through the court system right now of these days for only speaking words. But if every other nation that doesn't even have freedom of speech of this very point, which is the rest of them, 313 other nations of modern time of this very point, don't even lock up their comedians for telling jokes, and they don't even have freedom of speech. And you're stalking, why? Oh, it's because I'm trying to better you by telling you not to, so you can be a better example for the rest of society of this nation. Like I did with my mom, and point out there's punishments for treason, or federal offenses, or even misdemeanors, like saying words. That's so funny though. But anyways, but you think you don't deserve punishment. For what? Of me trying to tell you stay within boundary of it, there's punishments of it, and you don't want it applicable of the punishment towards you. That's why my mom changed her fear from I'm not good enough to I'm going to try to be good enough. That fear of the punishments of what she was doing. It took words and only words to do that. Because that also caused discipline of me staying within boundary of law of the first 13 years of my life. And not acting out of outside the boundary of law. That's 30 years ago. I'm 43. And you act like I'm the screw up here. Rethink that calculations of improperness of mentals of your understanding of law of the land of soil we're on. Should we go back to wind power to get across the oceans? Not even steam, not even engines, diesel or gas. How about the electricity in your homes? It ain't stemming off the founding fathers, right? of that creativity and imagination of steam, electricity, vehicles, or even flight, right? No, actually is. How's that comfort of those vehicles? How come I am almost 50, 6 years away from it, looking better than you, and you're probably only in your 30s, at early years of 30s, or even possibly younger, and I still look younger than you. Couch hopping for the last 5-6 months. Because I took care of my temple, like the Bible says to, of my soul, which is my physical essence, which also got reciprocated back to of, Lord sees I'm true to the biblical teachings, keeping me alive even through attempts after attempts after attempts. Now let's take COVID for example of the time frame it was mainly peaking even. Not only was the mafia pissed at me for exposing the fact my great uncle was the only accountant Al Capone trusted, of exposing that right on Facebook, I had secret society members trying. I think even Hillary tried once. I was told of in an indirect way. And yeah, you know how many attempts I would be during COVID even? Plus that AI, that I went straight, because I didn't have no device to call them, to Woodward at Quick Trip there and said, hey, there's an AI trying to take me out. They ignored it, brushed it off, said, go home, you're delusional, you're not noticing the truth type thing. When I actually wasn't, actually. So I said, if you don't handle it, I will. That was already 2.5 years into it, attempting during COVID, plus this and that, trying to, of mafia, secret society, and some in government sometimes. Around the same time frame of COVID. I let 2.5 more years go by. Boom. Now that's during COVID only. That's like a 10-year span I brushed off and giggled at the whole way. Even trying to inform, like of the stalkers, attempts, even of an AI. They thought I wouldn't be able, what? And you don't deserve punishment, right, traitors? That are poor. Compared to even Trump, and I can make Trump look poor. With my security slush fund that took 40 years of barely spending pennies compared to what was coming into it still to this day. So your theory is true. It ain't a theory no more. Poor people break law expecting no punishment of their broken laws, whether it be treason, felonies, or misdemeanors. You cannot deny it, and you'll stay to atheists that they supposedly have nothing to lose. Well, you're proving it. It ain't theory no more, it's facts. Hey, but that ain't the only blood I have in me. That's good with numbers, meaning. That's my miter side. If you take my dad's side, which, wow, conveniently supposedly passed on before I was even born, although I was conceived. So within that 7 to almost 8 months of me being premature, he passes on. But guess what he had for a bloodline? Royalty. Wales in the United Kingdom. One princess from one side and one prince from the other side of that war between those two way back in the day came together, and the bloodline came here. So we got individuals that understand numbers on my side, proven facts, and understand strategical understanding of law and how to apply it to myself, and even if battlefronts, which I did see a video of a kid proving the fact that it can be passed on generational of bloodline. One more thing, go back to when I'm 4. You guys had problems as teens even before graduating of algebra. Me, perfectly. But yet you don't want punishment for the laws you break. Now let's go back to the shortly after founding documents of amendment of an individual that's born of this land naturally cannot pass on, cannot be applicable of law of punishment. But I still accept it because I do not feel that should directly apply to me. For example, maybe someone else that may get to that point. Well, take 99 of November theft. Did I run from those punishment? No. Did I run from verbal disorderlies? No, I'm not going to either. It actually benefits me greatly after fulfilling the punishment I potentially will be receiving. Greatly. Math, market, strategy. Toodaloo. Once again, apply law to yourselves first, please. Outwardly, secondly, but simultaneously both ways. It'd be greatly appreciated for all, instead of wanting to deceive, to enslave all. Under your reign, Toodaloo.